Hello, welcome to the tour of pleasure here in the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione. I'm your host and the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom, Zip Gun, sitting here with the Minister of the Interior, who's relaxing after a long night of carousing. There he is. Oh, he's angry. We've been having a meeting about various problems in the Enchanted Kingdom, but we have no problems in this particular moment. Today we're going to talk about the influx of stuff from the thrift stores. Some of the stuff I bought, some of it the Empress bought. The Empress knows what I like, and this is from everywhere. This is a grab bag of grab bags. Look at this. Let's start with this stuff. First of all, 10 cents. For 10 cents, I'll buy a lot of stuff. Okay, well, it is getting towards Christmas. And so what better than to buy Christmas CDs? We've got the Christmas album. Masterworks. Let's see what's on there. Some of these I just bought because they said Christmas on them. Now these are handy to have. Include selections from Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker. Oh, Martha Stewart. Oh my goodness. Bach, Jesu, Joy of Dance, Desiring the Messiah, Herbert, March of the Toys. I don't know if I got that anywhere. Look at that. Oh, looks like some kind of European pressing. Anyway, 10 cents. Christmastide with Jesse Norman. Who's not going to want to hear that on Christmas? Then you have Christmas Stars, Joy to the World. Joan Sutherland, Kiri Tikanawa, Renata Tebaldi, Leontine Price, Luciano Buvarotti, Angels from the Realms of Glory. Ooh. Another complete grab bag. Half of it's digital, half of it's analog. Nobody cares. What do we got on tap here? The only one that's really reasonably arty is John Rutter, Hyperion. Good label, good. This is slightly above the quality of the other ones. I'll probably play this one all the way through on Christmas just because. Then what do we have? Well, we have a rarity. I had no idea that this was apparently the biggest selling comedy record in history. And I haven't listened to it yet. I remember hearing it when it came out. I remember not thinking it was very funny. Jeff Foxworthy. I wonder where he is now. This guy made a lot of money. He sold a lot of records. And he won a bunch of country music awards, which kind of speaks volumes, I suppose. At any rate, 10 cents. And then there's this, the best of the Dutch Swing College Band. The Dutch Swing College, that's a double. This was a dime. Dutch Swing College Band was an old trad band from Holland who basically were crazy about trad jazz. Oh, hello, Mary Lou. Ooh, they do Bad Bad Leroy Brown. They do Can't Buy Me Love. Wait a minute. This looks like Stargazer by Neil Diamond. Ooh, You Are the Sunshine of My Life. I gotta hear this. I haven't played this yet. Peter's Music Factory. I wonder if they do swing versions of all these songs. This looks incredibly cheap. Made in Holland, which shouldn't surprise me. It does not mention why the music on this. I have another record by these guys that's actually trad jazz, and it's good. It's great. Then there's always one of these things in there. Okay, Moby Hotel. Formerly owned by the Zone. I wonder why they threw it out. Maybe it's because it's shit. Maybe it's because it wasn't much of a hit. They do a version of. Don't they do it? I thought they did is it Temptation? They do a Joy Division or New Order song on this. It's a really not a very good idea. Oh no. wrong record. It's, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, no. Temptation by Bernard Sumner's. Okay. So he does, and wisely he doesn't actually sing it. This is apparently worth buying for the ambient record, which apparently sounds a lot like Brian Eno. We'll find out. This was, of course, well into his career where he was a massive success. And like many people of his ilk, the records deteriorated in quality. This was found by the Empress. This is the Rough Guide Music of North Africa. Now, normally, I would think this is not such a great idea because North Africa can mean a lot of things. In this case, it means Algeria, Egypt, Sudan, Egypt, Algeria, Morocco. So, okay, Sudan's not exactly North Africa, but whatever. Now, this is part and parcel of the Rough Guides, which are good books about, Rough Guide to wherever. And they have linked these things up with them. These are actually really good records. Sheb Kader and Sheb Mami, Sheb Khaled and Miloud, Sheb Sarawi and Sheb Fidela. Chaba Fidela. I have a Chaba Fidela record that's great. Great starter pack for Northern Africa. Not super weird. And, okay, now we get into some interesting stuff. Normally, I would not have bought this. Bach, Concertos for Piano. Well, if you know your Bach, you'll know that he didn't play the piano because the piano hadn't been invented. What this is modern instruments, including the piano, performing Bach keyboard concertos. Now, this is an interesting one because, for me anyway, because first of all, it's EMI France. So it's exclusive to France. It's 4 different French pianists. Michel Béroff, I'm very familiar with. The rest of them, I am less so. The Ensemble Orchestre de Paris by Jean-Pierre Valles. So what we have here essentially is modern performances on modern instruments of Bach. Concerto for piano, violin, flute, and orchestra. Concerto for piano and orchestra. Piano, 2 flutes and orchestra, and another piano and orchestra. When I'm in the mood, Bach on modern instruments on the piano is kind of nice. It's a refreshing change. I tend to listen to my early music on original instruments, but not always. And speaking of early music, this was also in the dime. Now, I bought this strictly because it's on Argo. I'll buy anything on Argo. King's College, how can you go wrong with the King's College Choir? Palestrina's Tue Petros, the motet and the mass. Victoria's O Quam Gloriosum, the motet and the mass. Hard to say much about these other than they're impeccably performed. Wonderful early music. 17th century. And, and another one I found, which was pretty interesting, Leontine Price sings Barber. Now, there's Leontine Price records out there everywhere. And she is fabulous, fabulous, fabulous singer. Groundbreaker for black artists in opera. But this one's different, a little bit special. Strangely, it's manufactured for BMG Direct Marketing. So this was part of the BMG Music Club. And it's a pretty weird one for that because you have her doing the Knoxville Summer of 1915 and the 2 scenes from Anthony and Cleopatra, recorded in 1968. Thomas Shippers and the New York Philharmonia. But the reason I bought this, the reason I jumped on it was there are a bunch of songs, the Hermit Song, Sleep Now, the Daisies, Nocturne, Nuvoletta, with Samuel Barber himself at the piano, singing in concert, 1953, so it's in mono. Not bad sound, but it's one of the first recordings of Leontine Price. She was a champion of Barber's music, and this is a good CD. I really enjoyed this, and I was glad to buy it. In the same pile, strangely, was a copy of Willie Nelson, God's Problem Child. Now, something that has slowly been dawning on me, and it's sort of embarrassing that it's taken this long, is that Willie Nelson has been making a whole lot of really good records throughout the 2000s, 2010s. This is 2017, produced by his old buddy, Buddy Cannon. There's only one guest duet with Tony Joe White, Leon Russell, and Jamie Johnson. But he's sort of settled into a pattern of records about being old and regretting your mistakes and whatnot. But they're bittersweet. They're not maudlin. They're not depressing. They're reflective. But bottom line is, they're good. And I've gotten to the point now where I'll buy any Willie Nelson regular issue album. I don't care when it was made. They're all worth $1 or a dime, or I don't know what I paid for this one. I think I paid $1 for it. The Empress found this one. She just said, this looks like something you would want. Now, to say that this is obscure is, the understatement of the week. This is the Ndr Big Band, North German radio. They have a big band that's quite good. Very good big band, in fact. Oh, comes with a postcard. It's not the like. The Act Company from Munich. ACT. Good jazz label. I'm not sure if they're still going or not. This is from 2000. The Ndr Big Band, directed by Colin Towns. The only artist in this whole roster that I know is Julien Arguel, who is, I think he's British, and he and his brother have a connection with Bill Bruford and Loose Tubes and a few other people. And they're doing the music, the theater of Kurt Weill, I call it. And this is great. Really well executed. Not particularly outside. But the interesting thing is that Colin Towns is an interesting dude. He was the rock keyboardist in that unforgettable band, Gillian, led by Ian Gillian. Became one of the most in-demand film and TV composers in the UK. His credo is, music should have energy and purpose. I like to take music to the limits and bring the audience along with me. I'll tell you what, he didn't do that when he was in Gillian, that's for sure. At any rate, good on him. It's a good record. Another one the Empress found, which I was delighted, was, and I'll buy these for $1 any day. What is it called again? The Music for the Gods. Indonesian gamelan music on Ryko disc, you can note, as the green jewel box, which, as we all know, is a, does it say it on here? The green jewel box is a trademark of Ryko disc. Who knew? Ryko, the World series. This was put together by Mickey Hart from the Grateful Dead, of course. He's got his finger in almost all of this stuff. And this is a CD of amongst the very, very first recordings of gamelan music in Indonesia. Most of these are from about 1941, and you would think the recordings would make it unlistenably bad, but because it's gamelan music, it actually survives quite nicely. Sadly, this got wet somewhere in its life, and I've had to, I don't know if you've ever done this, you have to pry the pages apart. Hope that this doesn't happen, but it did. But it doesn't matter. I played it all the way through. There's the thing they recorded it on. What's not to love? These guys were, how you say, completely dedicated to what they were doing, lugging this gigantic monstrosity around the jungles of Indonesia. And they were two brothers. And one of them survived the war, and the other one, I think, died in the war. And, I don't know, 10 cents, $1. Rarely are they more than $1. And here, another nice surprise. This was another nice surprise. These were a dime. And a dime is a price I'll pay for, anything. Ralph Sutton, solo piano. Now, I have Ralph Sutton and Maybach, which is the At Maybach series on Concord Jazz, which are amongst the only Concord Jazz records I truly love, because Maybach is a small, purpose-built concert hall, holds about 50 people. Some rich guy in California built it, and he does. Concord Jazz has recorded lots of great pianists in it, because the acoustics and the piano are excellent. They've done Jackie Biard, they've done Joanne Burkeen, I've done about 40 of them. And they did Ralph Sutton, and I didn't know much about Ralph Sutton, but I thought, it's Maybach, I'll buy it. Well, here I have two, not one, but two Ralph Sutton live at the long-gone Café des Copains in Toronto, and on the fabulous long-lost Sackville label, which put out a lot of really worthwhile music. Their graphic design leaves something to be desired, but whatever. And I bought this thinking, well, this is worthwhile. All these old songs, Willow Weep for Me, Good Man is Hard to Find, and Ellington medley, Laugh Clown Laugh, My Blue Heaven. Now the thing is, this guy is the last, well, maybe not the last, but he was the sort of most preeminent of the second generation of stride pianists. And he is a great pianist. And he will start these songs sounding like Rubinstein, and a lot of them end up ending into these stomps that are just fabulous. And if you like piano music and you like old-time jazz piano music, you can't really go wrong with Ralph Sutton. He's really good. He is not what you want to play if you're not in the mood for it. It's a little bit too bouncy, maybe. But nonetheless, 10 cents, I'll buy it. And I actually paid full pop for this. Now, when I say full pop, I mean I paid $1.99. And it's against my religion to pay $1.99 for an EP, but I did it anyway. And that's because it was the Prodigy doing Smack My Bitch Up. Now, I have a soft spot for these guys. When they came out, my dear friend Andy Kerr sent me an EP CD of the song Breathe, and I was like, wow, this is different. They were pretty unique at the time. And this is the lead-off song from their Fat of the Band album, and I think it's the best song. It was a little controversial. People didn't like the title, Smack My Bitch Up. Apparently, when they would say, let's go smack my bitch up, that meant, let's hit the stage. That's their explanation. It comes with an extra remix of it, which is very different. It comes with a song with Tom Morello on it, which is kind of interesting. And it comes with another what's it called? I can't even read it. Anyway, if you like the Prodigy, this is worth buying. Minefields, right. And I was happy to buy this, add it to my Prodigy collection, which is not that big. I don't have all the records. Next in the pile. These are all over the place. It's just amazing. From the Prodigy to early music vocale of the 12th to 17th century. On a label distributed by French Harmonia Mundi, which means I'll buy it. It's Harmonia Mundi. Why not? Now, it's not actually Harmonia Mundi. It is Disc avec Catalogue. What label is it actually on? Oh, good. They've printed it in black on black, which makes it impossible to read. They don't really go out of their lip. I guess it's called L'Empreinte Digitale. A variety of early music ensembles. There's thousands of them in Europe. We got, L'Empreinte Digitale. No capital letters. Music ancienne and baroque. What's not to like? They got a little catalog with it. There you go. Telling you this. So this is a sampler. A sampler of the early music on. Oh, and they have world music too in this label. Interesting. Maybe they did a world music sampler. Music Humana. Music of Dante's century. Oh, okay. Interesting. I don't think I have ever seen anything on this label before. So, the sampler's a nice way to start. 20th century music. Debussy. Okay, I guess he's 20th century. Barrio. Ooh, Mio. Francis Poulenc. Interesting looking label. I wonder how long it lasted. I'll guarantee it's not around anymore. And that was a dime. So, again, early music for a dime, I'll buy it. This one the Empress found. This one is kind of weird. In fact, it's very weird. It appears to be, well, I'm not really sure what this is. Consult the insert inside and the first sleeve of this case for the complete list of recordings and a free activation code for online interactive listening charts. Not really sure. Sony Music Commercial Music Group, 2011. It's 6 CDs of what is essentially various classical musics. So CD 1 begins with a track written by our favorite composer, Anonymous, Hildegard of Bingen, Anonymous, Machaut, Joaquin, Gabrieli, and then it goes to Pygmy, Polyphonic, Gambian minstrel songs. So there's a little bit of everything on this. Hawaiian chant, Navajo song. CD 2, Bach, Handel, Bach, Mozart, Haydn, Lebrun. Who? Mozart. CD 3, Mozart, Beethoven. Looks like the whole Fifth Symphony here. Schumann, Schubert, Japanese Gagaku, and Balinese Gamelan. Interesting. So this appears to be some kind of listening series. CD 4, Schumann, Chopin, Berlioz, Verdi, Wagner, Puccini, Tchaikovsky, and Brahms. Okay, so that's all classical. Ooh, there's more Japanese kabuki and Beijing opera. So it's mostly classical. Where's the Beatles? Oh, Ellington, Conga Brava. There you go. Hey, finally. CD 6 finally gets into... God, you gotta like a compilation that has the unanswered question by Charles Ives and Miles Davis's Bitches Brew in the same compilation. Yoruba drumming, Charlie Parker, Out of Nowhere, Duke Ellington, Conga Brava, and South African popular song. I wonder what that means. Look inside for your free activation code. I am going to bet money that the activation code doesn't work anymore. Like so. Yeah, well, there it is. Great. Interesting. I'm going to try this at some point. What does it actually say? I've not even looked at this, really. Oh, there's the list. So you got lots of lists of what's on it. Not a whole lot of explanation as to what it's all about. They want my email address. Well, it's 10 years old, and it's a computer activation code thing, so there ain't no way it's going to work. I can't believe it's going to work. But what it is it's one of these things that I'll put downstairs in the living room stereo for when I want to listen to just a good mix of stuff. Again, the Empress found this. She didn't think I had this, but I think I do. CBC Radio 3 sessions. Now, these are Mint Records. Put this out. Exclaim, CBC Radio 3, Canada Heritage. Mint Records, 1 million people are behind this. Not for sale. This has Chumpville by my friend Carolyn Mark on it, which is one of her greatest songs. Duo Tang, The Gay, The Organ, Huevos Rancheros, The New Pornographers, Cub, Immaculate Machine, which are friends of mine. I recorded their first CD. And Nico Case. So it's all Mint Records, folks, from pretty much when Mint Records was about as rocking as they were getting. And it's essentially a Mint Records sampler. Very good one. If you like the Mint Records sound, you can't really go wrong with this. Next up, actually, I'm going to skip this one because this was also in the pile. Again, I've got a copy of this already. I'm going to find somebody to give this to. Carolyn and Tolan doing their record At the Sound of the Tone. Echoes of the Last Resort. This has a lot of answering machine messages on it, if I remember right. And it's basically just the two of them together. Lettucehead is here. Kathy Matthews is here. They were up in Powell River doing this. And this was kind of a 27 tracks. I don't want to call it a throwaway, but it was a very casual release by Carolyn and Tolan, of course. Tolan has a couple of his own CDs out. A wonderful man, a brilliant musician, great recording engineer and producer. And they work together a lot. They still work together occasionally. I saw them recently at the Souk Music Fest, rocking it out. And you don't see this one very often. If you like Carolyn Mark or Tolan McNeil, this is worth seeking out. And it's a good one. It's a good one. What do we got here next? Completely different. We got an Analecta, which I do believe is a Quebecois label, doing Telemann the Baroque Gypsies. I'll buy pretty much anything like this. Gypsy. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. So this is a combination of George Philip Telemann pieces and gypsy pieces. Kind of a back and forth. These kind of records are not super common, but they're interesting sometimes. I remember somebody put out a Steve Reich record interspersed with pygmy drumming that was pretty interesting. And this, I haven't listened to it yet, but there you go. The Ensemble Caprice. These Analecta CDs are uniformly pretty darn good. And again, for $1, I'll buy almost anything on this label. Looking forward to listening to this, in fact, because it took me a while to figure out that it was, in fact, a sort of a hybrid. All right, what's the last four? Gee whiz. This is, and by the way, you see all this crap here. This is all stuff that's got to go away, so I am not actively looking for this stuff. It's kind of finding me. Oh, Mahalia Jackson and Christmas. I forgot that one's in the wrong pile. Again, what's not to like about Mahalia Jackson doing Christmas records, Christmas songs? My dear friend Tom Holliston has turned me on to the joy of Ali Bain, who played with the Boys of the Luff Low, on Whirly Records. What a great name for a label. Whirly! It's a whirly! And this is really solid. It's all over the place. He does duets with people from all different types of music, North America, Ireland, Europe, you name it. Norway. There's Ali Bain having a good time. He can play with almost anybody. Shetland Fiddlers Society, American Fiddle Tunes, Swedish Waltzes. You know, the guy can, if they play it with a bow anywhere in the world, he can just sit right in and do it. Played a bit of it. It's great. Sound is all really solid, even though it's from all over the place. And the Best of Ali Bain. Apparently there's two, because this one is the Best of Ali Bain Volume 1, which is, you know, better than Emerson, Lake and Palmer Works Volume 1. And then there is the Blue Notes. Now, I'll buy anything on Blue Note, old or new. Old is better, of course. But these were two Blue Notes that were really interesting, because the first one we got was Blues Struck by Teru Masahino. And Teru Masahino is like so many Japanese jazz artists. Somebody who you listen to him and you go, boy, this sure sounds like so-and-so. And in this case, he plays the cornet, which I like. I actually prefer the cornet over the trumpet. And, but he reminds me a little bit of Woody Shaw. And wouldn't you know it, he does a Woody Shaw song, dedicates it to Woody Shaw. Now, this guy's a big deal in Japan, and he's a really darn good trumpet player. Cornet player, I should say. This one is great. It was once a rental in Japan, as you can see. How cool is that? And this is apparently, now this is Something Else Records. I'm going to guess this isn't made in Japan. But I'm starting to wonder, because it comes with one of these. Now, the Japanese are really thorough when it comes to their documentation. Sadly, they never translated into English. Well, this side's in English. Also available on Blue Note. This, a set of liner notes that I can't read. I also can't read who's on it, but that's on the back, no worries. And so this is TOCU 5211 says the thing, but CDP 79, blah, 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 blah. So it's got a North American number on the CD, a sticker in Japanese that indicates it was a rental once, and the inside booklet is from Japan. So We have no idea. Good people on this. John Scofield's on it, playing well. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but Onaye Alan Gums with a B, who's a really good pianist. I really like him. Victor Lewis on drums. Yeah. And Michael Kaskuna co-produced it, so you know it's going to sound good. A Something Else recording, which I guess is some kind of sub-label. Division of Toshiba EMI. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's really, really vague. It's got Toshiba EMI, Hollywood, California. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is an American copy, but I could be wrong. And it's great. It swings like crazy. Very, really, really, really solid. What do you want to call it? Post-bop trumpet record. And I thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. Nothing particularly distinctive about it, other than it's very well done. Like so much Japanese jazz. And then the one that really got me, Eric Truffaz. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce his name. Now, this went against several rules of mine in the thrift store. Now, when you're in the thrift store and you're looking at just racks and racks and racks of stuff, you don't want to be there all day. So you work certain shortcuts out. And one of the shortcuts that's pretty much sacrosanct is if there's nothing on the spine, don't even look at it. It's going to be some piece of crap. Probably isn't even a CD. For whatever reason, I looked at this blank spine and thought, I should look at that. Don't ask me why. It goes against all my training. Pulled it out and I went, wait a minute, this says Blue Note on it. Well, Blue Notes always have spines. Well, guess what? Something happened. This one has no spine. This one is in a sort of a, what do they call this? It's not in a jewel box. It's in a cardboard thing. I forget what they call it. And this is a French trumpet player who I have never heard of. This is, I think, CD number 5 for Blue Note, so this shows you what I know. And, yeah, no matter how much you know, there's always more to know. Now, this guy, and I looked him up, of course, Eric Trouveau, Manu Kojia, I've never heard of any of these people. Trumpet, guitar, bass, drums, oud on track 5, vocals on track 7. Recorded in Studio du Fond, Lausanne, Switzerland. So it's a European jazz record of the first water. And so what does it sound like? Well, that's what I was wondering. What does it sound like indeed? What it sounds like is what Miles Davis should have sounded like when he came out of retirement. This is really excellent fusion jazz led by a really decent trumpet player who, yes, part of this guy's burden through his life is that he's compared to Miles all the time. He does sound, his trumpet sounds like Miles. I mean, it's hard not to play the trumpet and not be influenced by Miles Davis. So I'm going to cut him some slack here. But what this is this is an excellent record. And I'll tell you what, I will look for his records in the future, and I might even pay real money for them, because I really enjoyed this one. And like I say, the first thought I had was, boy, this sounds like what Miles, rather than doing time after time, Miles should have been doing stuff like this. And this guy's got a good rep in Europe. He's not that well known, I guess, over here, because like I say, I've never heard of him. And on Blue Note, you'd think I would have heard of him. I do not keep up super well with modern Blue Note. I knew about Mr. Hino over here, but I didn't know much about him. Anyway, this was $1. That's right. This was there's 3 main thrift stores I have around here. One of them is a dime, one of them is $1, and one of them resolutely sticks to $2. Don't buy a lot of that one because it's usually full of pop hits, which sit there forever and ever until the end of time. But this one was at the sort of the middling one. And the middling one generates a lot. It's sort of the Hino is. It's a weird thrift store because every couple of weeks there's a new jazz thing. I found a George Mraz CD in this thrift store. Where did this come from? And I've been finding, what's his name? Mustafa, the trumpet player on Contemporary. I found 2 of his CDs there 2 months apart. So you wonder if somebody hasn't died and their collection is being trickled out. Anyway, that's about a month's worth of dredgings from the thrift store. Mostly pretty high quality. The Christmas stuff is whatever. It's it's just there. Yeah. So that wraps up our last little while, and we'll get on to other more specific things later, I suppose. But there you have it. And, thanks for watching. Comments are always appreciated. If any of these strike your fancy, or you want more information, or anything, just mention in the comments what you're looking for. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notifications to let you know when these happen if you care. Um, and we're experiencing non-stop rainfall here in the Enchanted Kingdom, where luckily we have no flood problems, but the rest of the surrounding area are having significant flooding problems. So if you can help these folks out, this is a very trying time for everybody. And hopefully we'll see you soon, probably before the Titanic sinks. Anyway, take it easy, and we'll talk to you later. Say goodbye. Oh.